Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new here, please feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish content like me. It's been a while since I've done one of my single book reviews, but today I wanted to talk to you guys about The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. This is a newer release. It came out March 7th of this year, 2023, and this is the author's debut novel. The concept is Great British Bake Off meets murder mystery, and I was hooked immediately. I pre-ordered this book and I was not let down. First, I'm going to talk about what this book is about, then I'm going to go into my pros, after that in my cons, and then in the end I have some bonus content for you guys because this is about a baking show. So I actually decided to make the signature bake from this book, which is a blueberry buckle, and show you guys some clips of me actually baking it and then showing you the end result, because why not? So in this story, we have a baking competition that is called Bake Week. It is with 6 participants from the United States. The show has been running for 10 years that compete with each other. The entire competition is being filmed and held in the course of 1 week in Vermont in a beautiful mansion called Grafton Manor. And it so happens that Grafton Manor is actually in the possession of the judge's family. So the judge is Betsy Martin. She is the so-called America's grandmother. So in my head, I was picturing her as the US version of Mary Berry, which makes this whole show even more important to her as it is filmed on her family's estate. So that is your setup. We have the 6 competitors, we have Betsy Martin, the judge, we have the camera crew, and we have Vermont, and then there's a murder. And it is for you, the reader, to find out who gets murdered and why, and who are the suspects. Starting with my pros for this book is this was essentially unputdownable for me. I could have read this in 1 sitting had it not been for sleep and the fact that I have a full-time job. It's a fairly short book. It's under 300 pages, so it's not a huge commitment. If you're curious about it, it won't take too much time. And the way that the chapters are set up makes it also a very fast read because they're relatively short and you switch the POV with every chapter. In the beginning of the book, you get a short profile about each of the contestants, which is super helpful because in the beginning, as you switch POVs from one character to the next, you don't really know what name belongs to what person, so you can just go back and check that, which I personally like. The different POVs really add to the experience of getting to know each contestant because obviously everybody has a different motivation for coming on the show. Some of them have hidden agendas, some of them have secrets. Because the setting is a baking competition, you're not just focused on the murder that happens, but in my case, I was also wondering who's gonna win the baking competition, and I had my candidate that I was rooting for. That distracts you from the main part of the plot, but in a good way because it makes the whole setup a bit more dynamic because it is a quite short book, and this way you have something else to think about and are not just super focused on one aspect of the story. Also, I just really enjoyed the setting, the filming location being in a nice, huge manor in Vermont. And as an avid hobby baker, I really enjoyed the descriptions of the bakes and what the contestants were coming up with. So the tabs that you see here on the side, they're actually for all the bakes that the contestants were putting together because I wasn't sure going into this if I maybe wanted to do some kind of baking video. The main winning aspect for me with this book was the fact that it was such a page turner for me. I had so much fun with it. Now going into the cons of this book. I think your reading experience will vary hugely depending on how you're positioning this book when going in. For example, the blurb on the cover by Janet Ivanovich says, "This delicious combination of Clue and the Great British Bake Off kept me turning the pages all night." I completely agree on the Great British Bake Off comparison and this being a page turner. But I wouldn't say this is a classic murder mystery like Clue, because overall I would categorize this as a cozy mystery with suspenseful elements. Because if I compare this book to classic murder mysteries, if you've watched my channel, you know that I'm an avid Agatha Christie reader, for example. I don't think you will find elements that you crave from a murder mystery in this book. The classic murder mystery trope is there's going to be a murder and then the whole book revolves around finding the suspects, interrogating them, figuring out what happened, what was the crime, and who done it. This book doesn't get into the whodunit part until 70% into the book. The first 70% are really more about setting the scene, getting to know the characters, and those are the kind of things that I look for in a cozy mystery. In a cozy mystery, I don't mind not being too focused on an actual crime because I am enjoying my time with the setting, with the vibes, with the characters. And while you get a similar feel from this book like in a locked room mystery, because this takes place in one place at Grafton Manor, it is not a locked room mystery. It doesn't fulfill the traditional criteria, I would say, that you look for when you pick up something like that. It doesn't have the natural progression of a locked room mystery story. And then if I look at the book jacket here and the description, it says, a sharp and suspenseful thriller for mystery buffs and avid bakers alike. I definitely agree with avid bakers and mystery buffs, but I would not call this a suspenseful thriller at all. The usual thriller and psychological thriller, they live off being extremely action-packed. They tend to be very well constructed when it comes to the detail work and how everything fits in together in the construction of the story, the evidence, the clues, everything. In thrillers, authors usually spend a lot of time crafting a scenario that you could imagine happening in the real world as well. Whereas in cozy mysteries, you have so much more leeway and room for plot holes, for example, because you're not looking for a realistic setup. That is, for example, what happened in this book when it comes to the actual crime and the suspects and what happens to the people afterwards. There's quite a few plot holes there and things that just don't make a lot of sense, which you can overlook if you accept this book as a cozy mystery. All of this is to say that you should pick this book up for the right reasons. If you're looking for a suspenseful thriller or a locked room mystery or a classic murder mystery, then you're probably going to be disappointed because you're going to look through a lens with criteria that this book probably won't fulfill. But if you're looking for a cozy mystery, then this book is going to be great for you because it has a great set of characters, it has the amazing setting, and has a competition show that you can focus on. And also it's going to be so fast paced, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. My last con is really the ending. As I said, this is under 300 pages long, and we got to a point towards the end where I turned the page and I was like, oh, okay, it's right there. I thought we're going to get a little bit more leeway into the next part of the story, but it was right there in front of you. And I was thinking, you know what? I was enjoying my time so much with this book. I wouldn't have minded for the author to have slowed down the ending a bit and give me extra 40 to 50 pages because I liked it so much. I liked the writing. My overall rating for this book is 4 out of 5 stars. If I had just looked at the construction of the story, then I would have probably ended up more towards the 3 stars, but because I was really into the characters and I just couldn't put this book down, I had to give it an extra star just for the enjoyment factor that I had, because I mean, I definitely rate my books based on enjoyment, and it was very high with this one. In conclusion, this was a fun page turner, especially for avid bakers, but pick it up for the right reasons. Don't expect a thriller, and you will enjoy this book so much. I will 100% keep my eye out for what Jessa Maxwell publishes next, and I will definitely read it. And I heard that this book is actually going to be turned into a Hulu show, I think. I love Only Murders in the Building from Hulu. If they can turn this book into something resembling that show, I would be so happy. On to the bonus content. One of the signature bakes in this book is a so-called blueberry buckle, which is essentially a blueberry cake with a streusel on top. I made the simplified version that Claire Saffitz created for What's for Dessert. I'm gonna link the video with the recipe in the description below. So here you guys have it. That cake was so delicious. My favorite part was 100% the streusel that goes on top. Let me know what you guys think about this book. Are you intrigued to pick it up? Do you think it's not for you? And if you've watched this review because you have read it and you want to know what other people think about it, also let me know about that. Until then, please like this video if you've enjoyed it, and thank you guys so much. Let me know if you like the bonus content with the baking bits, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.